people, and welcome once again. Hi, and welcome once again to Moral High Ground, where I talk about what's morally right in some sense or another. And you can catch this podcast on many different places. Spotify being number one, and any other podcast. There's like I don't know. I think I'm on like seven podcast platforms. And anyway, I want to appreciate you all for always listening, you loyal fans, and hopefully you're learning something from what I'm saying because I look at life not in a way to be hmm, judgmental or just to be, arrogant dick or anything like that. I look at humanity as a whole, and what I go off about is I'm looking at the problems in humanity, the things I can't figure out. That doesn't make sense to me. Why we can't work together and come together as not just a society, but as people in general. Things I see that a person with intelligence would seem to have a problem with because they look at the things that people like and stuff as ignorance or things that people do as a form of weakness or just incompetence altogether. And so, what I'm trying to say right now is I'm talking about America. I'm talking about why America is the way it is. So, this episode clearly, as you might have read, is what will make America work? What will make America come together to finally unite as it's supposed to do, as it's the United States of America, and get rid of the divisions, get rid of all these useless groups that just makes more laws that go against something that actually worked. Get rid of a government that has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, almost, next couple hundred years, it'd be 1,000 that we done had Democrats and Republicans. Why is it that no one sees the easy, simple solution to fix these things in this country? Well, it's because of greed and power and all forms of manipulation, separation, divisions, tactic. Man, just think like you're watching Smallville and you're watching this Rosenbaum guy play Lex Luthor and his deceptions of how he does things to get Clark's knowledge or to destroy Clark altogether is the most insane shit, but it happens. In real life, you can actually learn a lot from some things just by observing body language, how people socialize with each other. And with that being said, you got to look at how the news, the media, the government all operate to try to give you a scenario of what they believe America should be. We should look at things that are wrong in their eyes or judge people on basis that they judge people on. But when you're out there talking to the regular people in society, you realize you can't judge them the way they do because you're more closer to that person. Why the government and the people that control the media and laws aren't that close to that individual at all. They have no idea how that individual laughs or their sense of humor, period, or that individual loves or cares for something or is passionate and has desire for these things. They have no idea how this individual looks out for the people they care for. They have no idea. And so, with that being said, I look at the parties, both Democrat and Republican, as the same party, besides the fact that that's what they were when they originally were created. But the fact that they sell us the same rhetoric year after year, presidential election after presidential election, and yet we're supposed to be loyal to these parties. And I look at that as a form of being loyal to a sports team. It's like saying, oh, the Denver Broncos can beat Kansas. Kansas versus the Denver Broncos. No, Kansas is better. Denver's better. You know, Or, you just say something crazy like the Blazers can beat the Lakers. The Lakers are better because they're from California. No, Portland's better because, they got Damian Lillard and they had Clyde Drexler and all this, just go on and on and on. And that's how I look at people when they get so serious and so determined to express their point of view about how they feel about Democrats and Republicans. And I look at the fact that they haven't solved a damn thing for hundreds and hundreds of years, like I said. It's obvious that they're not focused on helping the American people and satisfying any of the needs we need or uniting people or just, I mean, there's not been one moment, maybe there was in some period of time where before I was born and before a lot of you were born, where a president and the government has actually made a utopia out of America. But we know that's not to be true because there's always been some conflict. There's always been some kind of murders, some kind of racial tension, some kind of sexual or secret sexual perversions in the past because they weren't that open as they are now. There's always been some form of manipulation, some Ponzi scheme, some kind of way to control the people. And if this is America, then we have to look at the fact that we're in a country where anything negative can be possible and support it. That's the messed up part about it. Support it. I'm looking at one of my gray hairs. I'm like, what the hell? But anyway, I'm like, seriously, support it. They supported wickedness. They're not supporting the title that they say, in God we trust, or should I say, one nation under God. It's far from God, and it's like that song by Garbage. It's far from God because heaven's wide, okay? Heaven's wide with love, positivity, joy, and all the people that try to live a righteous, God fearing, respectable life. We don't have that anymore. We have chaos, perversion, demented tension. We have manipulation, conning. We have all forms of greed, sickening forms of greed in some cases. And we have bloodlust and all kinds of so on and so forth. I can go on and on and on. And the term you hear about America being great, they say, oh, America's, going to be great again and all this stuff. Well, like I said, you can look back any point in history and realize there's not been one form of utopia, no form of peace, no real solace in America. But there's been good things they've done in America that they should get rid of as soon as they put it into play. Like another president or somebody will jump into office and bang, they didn't change the whole thing, or someone went to Congress and said, hey, we got to vote against this, you know. But someone had good intentions. The only problem with that is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But it's stuff that works, truly keeps things on the up and up. Why are they vanishing? How do we bring back those good concepts from certain time periods and make them one in America once again? That would make it work. If we get rid of all the negative in every time period in America's history and think of all the positive things that worked in America's history and that will continue to work if you put them all back into play, the people will be happier. Now, I'm not going to go on about too many things like that, but I'm just saying life shouldn't be so hard and complicated in these big cities, on this country land, this land where we're supposed to be free, but everything is already owned. The whole damn land is owned by the government. Everything, the schools are owned. You got to pay for them. You got to pay for all this stuff. But when do you get a break? They want you to work to death and then be satisfied with it. There's places where people work, but they don't work as hard as we do. And yet we still get treated like shit. One of the reasons why people hate the police, law enforcement altogether, is as an individual, you work your ass off. You pay taxes, you do medical bills and things, and you do all this crap that proves you're a part of the United States of America. As soon as a cop pulls you over, they treat you like you're a piece of shit. Like you're the criminal of the year, like you've been running around with freaking, William Bonney, or freaking Jesse James or something. I don't know. Or treat you like you're Don Corleone's foster child or some crazy shit. You know, they want to make it look like you are the big bad. And all you did was what? Had your damn hazard lights on, made a traffic stop, walked out the store, maybe put something in your pocket, forgot you were, holding it like you thought it was your phone or something. And it was a piece of candy or something. Either way, it doesn't make no sense that somebody that's supposed to enforce law will treat the citizens like criminals. And then, like, when your identity is stolen, which is one of these things that never gets really fixed, that should get fixed and would make America work greater, is if they fix that shit with identity theft, white collar crime is what you call it. And the thing about that is, as soon as you get found, and you say, hey, that wasn't me, and you got proof you weren't on that day and all that shit, then they automatically want to label you as the one that did it. They don't want to look and say, okay, well, maybe you didn't do this, because all they want is your money. And that's another thing, is this, you got too many hands in the ball in the bucket, you know? Like, fuck it. Like, yeah, all these people like reaching out for their money. And then you work big ass DVD video game collection. And this was in between my 20s and 30s. And I was just like, I'm just gonna collect this stuff and watch what I want to watch and play what I want to play. And after a while, I had this giant ass collection, and then it was like a hobby. I would go to like Best Buy, Target, all these places, and look for DVDs and things and get deals and stuff, and it was fun for me. You know, besides the other parts where I would go out and actually have fun out in bars, things like that, mostly with scantily clad women. And so, I gotta laugh at that. But my point being, people started talking about streaming services when they came about, and I was like, this isn't cool, because you gotta pay every month to watch something, and I don't get it. And so now there's all these streaming services. You gotta keep paying. But then even if you were to combine them all together, then you would have to pay cable. It would just be cable again. You're watching a series. Like most of the time, if you're watching what's that thing called Pluto TV and stuff, they're playing whole channel is named after a show. And they're playing that whole series of the show. This is exactly what happens if you bought all the whole DVD box set of that whole series. So I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I went off topic. But my point is, why pay for all this entertainment when no one's truly entertained anymore? People are bored, seriously bored. You look at the concept of women online, and at first it can be very provocative, and very eye catching, very interesting in some cases. But then you look at, and after a while, it becomes very dull. Same girls always with the phone in front of their face. They're like, oh, they do all this shit with the phone, and it makes no sense because you're like, okay, you're supposed to be showing your beauty, but you're just showing your body. And then they're doing the twerking, and the twerking becomes asinine after a while, and really just lame, and all that. And so it's like, why are they doing this? It's so boring. Everything, you're overdoing it. But women shouldn't have to overdo it. You're already beautiful. And so all that extra work is just child's play. And it's for someone that's really desperate, that's not getting any woman at all. But you just gotta laugh at it like, dang, this girl's stupid. All she's doing is bouncing her boobs up and down. And, it'd be more cooler if she was doing it on your lap. But you're not gonna get that because you didn't meet her in person. You met her on the interweb. And this is the way they make money. And then the sad part about it is women's lib and all that shit If they were working to seriously better the lives of women, they would start with trying to help the children, and they would start with trying to make sure single mothers with children are taken care of more, because the ultimate woman is a mother, because she's able to use of that of what a woman has naturally, what a woman's naturally supposed to do: give birth, be caring, have empathy. Without any of this isn't a woman. This is just some crazy demon chick running around causing chaos. And that's what we got out here. And that might be the reason why so many men restricted women from doing things back in the day, because of what we got right now. And so maybe things in the past wasn't that bad when it came between men and women. And they should bring that back in America. Maybe entertainment wasn't lame and boring. Maybe it was actually pretty decent, you know, leaving out certain cuss words, leaving out some inappropriate stuff, some profanity, leaving out the perversions, people's, you know, opinions and stuff doesn't have to be forced in the ideas and way of thinking in life shouldn't be forced into entertainment, or it's not entertaining. It's just rhetoric. This is what I'm saying. We can make America great by changing those two concepts alone. Uniting people together instead of separating them. When it comes to what I'm saying about the Democrat and Republican Party, though, I think it's time to replace them. I think it's time, long overdue, to have a new party, two new parties. If you want, keep Democrat and Republican there, but make them not the main focus. If they had hundreds and hundreds of years, how come they haven't fixed one problem yet? Like I said, they keep repeating the same stuff. Healthcare, child education, you know, overseas policies, taxes and taxing the rich. And we owe money to ourselves, which is the stupidest shit that Alexander Hamilton came up with. And there's so many different problems that they could have solved over these 600 years, I guess, something like that. Since the government's been founded, I guess you can't count the 1600s, so I'll leave that out because 1776 America was founded. So, whatever, the past 300-400 years, whatever, something like that. And I'm just like, I'm done and over with. Like I did a whole episode about what my party isn't your party, and I was talking about political parties and all the ones people don't remember. But the thing about it is, here's a problem with that. No one goes out to look for this information because they're stagnated. They're stuck. They're like one of those movies where the people are frozen and the flash runs by or something. They're like, and they don't move forever. And so the whole thing about it is, it's just like we have to sit there and actually spread the word better, get people out there to understand and respect things better. There's stuff people don't know. Like even right now, YouTube. There's so many YouTubers that probably got great stuff, great information, good, vital knowledge, and yet funny, entertaining stuff. But they're overlooked by what the channel itself, or should I say the website itself, decides is better for people to get the knowledge from. And there's so many different websites and stuff that do this. But the flaw in the whole thing is, why control? And that's the thing. Control is the biggest issue in this country. We are being controlled by our government. We are getting screwed by our government because they went on something, a concept I can't understand. It has to do with not Alexander Hamilton, but Theodore Roosevelt, where he created the New Deal. And he created it to stop, and the main thing was to stop people like Rockefeller at the time, who owned the oil company that was very profitable by lowering prices and taking up all the competitor stuff. And so he came up with the New Deal, Theodore Roosevelt did, to make it to where one rich man's company couldn't overpower another. Now, I want to know what happened to this, because what happened in history was Theodore Roosevelt made Rockefeller break his stuff down in Exxon Mobil, and I forget the other oil company. And I think there was two or three that he had branches, one main oil company into, so it didn't look like he was super powerful. Now, there's one individual right now where this law should stand. one individual where they should use this whole concept on, and that's Jeff Bezos. Amazon, Mr. Amazon himself, Mr. sending William Shatner to the moon and making moon crafts and buying up all the land in America for no reason whatsoever, just to be greedy and do it. Him and Bill Gates are doing this. So the point is, this guy makes billions of dollars every month. I can't remember the last time I was on the news or watching the news, and it was like six something. At one point, it was $12 billion a month. It's something more than that now. And it's like, with that amount of money, and I mentioned this multiple times, you could pay someone, man, you could pay every employee 20 grand a week, 50 grand a week, whatever. Any company, and I believe, and this has to do with a lot what Andrew Yang said recently, or on a thing I saw recently on one of the news shows. I don't know because I watch all of them. Okay, I'm not a sports fan of the Republicans and Democrats or supporting their gang, their Crips and Bloods because they're red and blue, you know. But my thing is that Andrew Yang made sense by saying a job should be able to pay you whatever your wages are, plus the government pays you like $200-300 more, so a family can be stable. Now, I don't see why that's a bad thing. But here's the thing I see: if a company makes over, I'm telling you, over 36 billion, or I mean million, or in the billions every month, that company should be able to pay you way more than anywhere from $50 an hour, and up. They should be able to pay you way more than that. Should pay you $150 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever. They're making money. A business like Amazon's always going to make money because there's always going to be people who need something, and that's why this man is rich and wealthy. People always use Amazon, even with what they know, what they do to the workers and so forth, and they make the workers go through living hell. I know. I worked there at one time, and my point is though, a guy that wealthy that can build a spacecraft that can stay in the moon forever is ripping off his people, ripping off the American people, making it hard for those people to live in some cases. At the same time, is hoarding money. He's hoarding money. He's keeping it to himself. And this guy has the right to pay you, I don't care, $22,000 a week. Everyone that's employed underneath him because he's going to make it back in the next month. That's the thing about it. If he's making billions of dollars next month and the price never goes down, he's got that money covered. Rockets to the moon aren't cheap. If that's the case, all of us would have one. So this is the thing. All wealthy people in America have to do what Theodore Roosevelt did to Rockefeller. They have to break their companies down into different branches. They have to pay, if they've got over billions and dollars and trillions and shit, they have to pay their employees what they're worth. And they have to pay their employees better than they would pay foreign overseas employees, where they're already being taxed overseas anyway, secretly by that country. The thing about it is, even then, they got rid of the free trade agreement that was made by Ronald Reagan, which I thought was a good thing. And I mentioned this a billion times, but it should be something looked upon. And if there's a problem with it, fix the problem, make it work. You know, America's always playing 911 to the rest of the world. And to me, I'm pretty positive a lot of other Americans think the same way. It makes no sense to go help a country that's starving when there's people starving here in the United States. There's no point in trying to go to another country where people don't have good medical care when there's no good medical care here in the United States. All of it is a test and trial and error thing on people, making people guinea pigs, you know, testing drugs out and I mean, damn, you can't even watch a commercial now without this, try incentive. It will help you out. Side effects will give you a sore foot. It will get you herpes and it will get you cheese in your gut that you can't get out. Stupid shit like that. And you're like, huh? If you're dumb enough or you're really strong, like, oh my God, I got that. I need that medication. You know, but honestly, do we have good health care? Is it managed health care? Is it managed in the right way, in the right directions for the right people? No, we don't. Everyone always talks about how good Canada's health care is. I beg to differ on that too, because I heard from someone how they treat you in Canada, unless you're a true Canadian. And I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. These things could have been easily fixed. When you pick your presidential candidate next year, I want you to truly think, is this country worth trying to pick another Republican or Democrat? Both of them are wrong. Both of them are the same. Different little belief systems, but the same shit. They've been here way too long. You got to take the power away from these people. They're so far gone from what it feels like to be a normal person. They have no idea. They don't know what it's like to call, like one of your phone companies and say, "Oh, can you put me on that payment plan?" Hell no, they don't know what it's like because they got the money already to pay it off. They don't know how it's like, to penny pinch your money so you can pay a light bill or keep your freaking car with gas. They have no idea. They don't know what it feels like to work your ass off and have very little time to do anything meaningful in life, like find a relationship, like go on vacation, or like enjoying whatever it is you like to do because you don't have enough time to do it the way you used to do it or the way you did it when you first enjoyed it. They don't understand that. They don't understand how it feels like to wear your same crappy clothes and trying to make it look new or cool because hey, they can buy a new set of clothes right away. These people don't know how or what true Americans think or believe. They don't got an idea. And so when you vote for them, you got to realize how long they've been in this power position. How long have they been wealthy? How long have they been ignoring the voices of the American people? Okay, I'm not saying go in there like January 6th, well, and just destroy shit. No. I'm saying this should change should happen gradually and should happen in a more timely manner. Okay, I'm saying like they should be able to go in. Yeah, you can have your pools and your rallies and all that, but figure out these other political parties. Try to support them. You know, and when you do, don't just try to support them. Try to pull them away from the main parties that think they have more power over all of us, which is Democrats and Republicans. Pull yourself away from the Republicans. Pull yourself away from the Democrats if you're in another political party. It's like I think it's not the lobbyists. It's the oh, crap. I can't remember right now. But anyway, the political party that was once a third party became united with the Democratic Party because no one was truly trying to be an independent. I think that's what it's called. No one was trying to be an independent party. And so they just said, hey, we're going to make them Democrats. And so you're independent Democrat, which makes no damn sense. So what I'm saying is this, there's got to be a point in time where the American people wake up and realize what's wrong. I think we need to eliminate a lot of these different groups. I know there's people strong supporters of LGBT all the damn time. And they're strong supporters of, black rights and Asians and so forth and so on. But we're once again, this makes me think about united. We're supposed to be united as a country, as a government, as a people. So I say get rid of all these parties and become one great party, the party of true American harmony. And that's just it. That's all I'm going to say about that. To make America work, we have to drop all these concepts that aren't working, that seem to bring problems. Anytime you hear a problem in the news from any of these concepts, it's time for them to go. If there's way too many of them, it's time for them to go. And it's time to start something new. And so you have to revamp, refresh, and start over. And that's what God did when He made the flood happen. And He got rid of everything that was wicked and started brand new, started over. And with that being said, I think this would be a morally right thing to do. Peace be with you and blessings upon you. Always. Always and forever. It's a good song.